is called to order. Please rise and join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for joining us on this August 4th meeting. Thank you, council and staff, for being here. Katie, could I have attendance, please?
Yes. Councilperson Bentley.
Here.
Bruns.
Here.
Flynn.
Here.
Morrissey.
Here.
Soha.
Present.
Stucho.
Here.
Wolfram. Mayor Pro Tem Palladino.
Here.
Yes,
Thank you, Katie. We will move on to the approval of the agenda. Are there any items council would like to add or delete from this agenda? Anything from staff? All set. I will take a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion on the floor from Councilman Morrissey to approve the agenda as presented, seconded by Councilman Bruns. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We will move on to public comments on agenda items. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and ward or address, and restrict your comments to items that are directly on tonight's agenda. The podium is open.
Jack McLean. I'd like to speak on the Alan Beaker's secret plan that he's been working on for like 4 years or 5 years that nobody knew about until new councilmen were elected. I think because of what he did in getting the city or the state to put in $1 million to redo that street, that maybe it would be nice if maybe Mr. Bentley nominated to change that name of that street to Beaker Street in his honor for the work that he's done on it. I just think that would be a good idea and a good way to honor Mr. Beaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McLean.
Hello, Ms. Latchway. You guys had the opportunity to fix the road diet issue that has been ongoing for far too long tonight. It seems like certain people who have been pushing it on this council and voting for it have misled the public a little bit with the new information that's came out. Seems like Mr. Bentley here has done some homework and talked to some people and found some new numbers that should have been done long before this council would be voted on. I don't understand why it wasn't. I understand why it wasn't. I just am surprised that it finally came out and some people around here really did do their homework a little bit better and probably think before they vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lashway.
Adam, Ward 2. Just here to say that we're still not interested in the road diet. I know you already voted on it, kind of, but I don't know. I drove on Broad Street today. It was fine. I agree there are things that could be better, but I think the process that has kind of taken place and is still taking place has been contestable. So just a friendly reminder that the people are still not interested. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bentley.
David Hamilton, Ward 4. I've handed Katie some maps. I think that we're chasing a red herring, and it's not anybody's intentional red herring. It was set up by a government that was looking to improve downtown before there were semi-trailers in the mix. And so they brought M99 down past the fairgrounds and through the city. And I think it does a disservice to us every day now. And if we take a look at the map and figure out how traffic wants to flow, we bring the semi-trailer traffic down around the east side of town and bring it on to East Carlton at the Bobby's Trail at St. Joe Street. Let the state pave Lake Pleasant Road and East Bacon and call it M99, please. But absolutely back away hard from a pig in a poke that was delivered as a $200,000 boondoggle that we can't afford. We're still enforcing special assessment tax districts on a population that can't afford them. Because we want to spend extra money on the state's near and dear projects. We really don't need money from Lansing, and we don't need influence from Lansing. We don't need influence from outside of town. Hillsdale's money is Hillsdale's money, and it should be spent taking care of Hillsdale's widows and orphans first. So start looking at populations with less than $50,000 income and make sure that they're not getting hit by extra taxes. And take this road diet off the playing field altogether. The conditions have materially changed. And we couldn't afford it in the first place. If there are questions on the map, I'll see the rest of my time.
I'll entertain questions if that's okay with council.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hamilton.
Jill Hardway, Ward 1, 157th Street. I'm curious to know if we are going to re-vote on the road diet, since the first vote was for a different dollar amount, and now there are many proposals out there. I still maintain that if we cannot afford to fix our roads, and we're assessing our citizens through this $5,000 per resident, I don't believe that we should be discussing these TAP grant at all. I think it should be dead. I'm curious to know how we were so far off the mark as a council body to begin with. So where was the misinformation? Was it the state? Was it on our end? What happened there? I'm wondering if anybody on this body can answer that question. And I'm strongly encouraging re-vote. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any more comments from the public? Thank you all. I will close the podium and we will move on to the consent agenda. Does council have any questions, concerns, comments on the consent agenda? Are there any changes from council or staff?
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
Motion on the floor from Councilman Flynn to accept the consent agenda as presented, seconded by Councilman Morrissey. Any discussion? Katie, could I have a roll call vote, please?
Yep. Councilmember Bruns,
Yes.
Flynn,
Yes.
Morrissey,
Yes.
Soha,
Yes.
Stuchel,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Palladino,
Yes.
Councilmember Bentley.
Yes.
At 7-0, that's approved.
Thank you. We will move on to Roman numeral 6, communications petitions. Letter A, we have Perennial Park Senior Center update. Hi, thank you for being here.
Good evening, and thank you for having me. My name is Maggie Monroe, Executive Director of the Hillsdale County Senior Services Center, and please accept my apologies for our absence at the last meeting. So in your package, you will find some reports for Hillsdale County that details the services and programs that we provided between April of 2024 and March of 2025. For Hillsdale County specifically, we had 99 congregate members. We serviced 84 Meals on Wheels clients, and the third largest service was homemaking and lifelong learning opportunities with 44. Some of our fiscal year 24 highlights included servicing 3,052 unduplicated clients. We provided 6,045 more meals from our previous fiscal year in our Meals on Wheels program. Provided 82,154 meals to 491 unduplicated clients in Hillsdale. Provided 12,468 congregate meals to 971 unduplicated clients. Welcomed 72 new volunteers, putting us at 133. And served 244 more congregate meals to an additional 70 people. Our fitness center has over 300 members, and in our last fiscal year, we had 19,342 visits. We've been fortunate within the last year with fundraising to purchase some new equipment. So in the last year, we have added 5 new pieces of equipment, including treadmills and new steps. Community collaborations that we continue to do include our quarterly American Red Cross blood drives, quarterly podiatry clinics, annual health fair, lifeline screening events, senior breakfast, lunch and learns, special events such as our senior prom that we just had in May, and that was made possible by the Hillsdale County Community Foundation. We also collaborate with a lot of our youth programs, Hillsdale Area Career Center, Hillsdale High School to facilitate our technology workshops and clinics, Key Opportunities, Michigan State Extension Office for our community garden and Cooking for One classes. A new initiative that we are excited about is our Fresh Produce Initiative. One thing that I love most about that initiative is it was inspired by a Litchfield, Michigan resident who stated that it's hard for his peers who do not drive to get fresh produce. So with that, the Fresh Produce was initiated, and again, that was on behalf or made possible by the Hillsdale County Community Foundation. And that is a pilot program right now in Litchfield, but we are hoping that we can expand that to other areas. Every month we have seen those numbers increase. So we started in the 40s mark when we started in April. This will run through December, but our most recent numbers were in the 80s. We are still working. Our spring appeal was dedicated to our community garden, and that was to add elder-friendly and sustainable gardens to expand that underutilized part of the center. And while that is still a work in progress, we have been able to add raised beds, ergonomic tools, we've fixed our fencing, and we've gotten some help from some local churches for that, such as the Hillsdale United Brethren Church, so that was greatly appreciated. Some things that we have coming up include our pancake breakfast that will be held on August 16th from 8:30 to 11:30. And then we offer monthly cash bingo as well the first Thursday of every month, as well as numerous, we have over 30 programs and services, but we have our support groups. We host monthly Alzheimer's support groups, Parkinson's disease support groups, kinship care, which is grandparents focused on raising grandchildren, and with guest speakers as well. So this month, August 27th, for Alzheimer's support group, we will welcome Jim Manji, and he will share his book and his journey as a caregiver. We also have a new memory clinic available, and that clinic is offered to designed to assist individuals who may be struggling with memory loss. They can come in and get some advice on navigating memory changes, local resources that are available to them, as well as confidential memory screenings. We also advocate for our seniors, and this primarily takes place throughout the year, but in May every year we celebrate Older Michiganians Day, and I'm proud to share that through the support of our clients, we were able to collect 100 signatures for Congress in support of the Older Americans Act. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about our programs and services.
Maggie, could you give us an update on the housing project?
Yes, I'm glad you asked. So, as many of you may know, the center did purchase the 17 acres behind the center, and I have a lot of questions about that. Currently, we are working on getting the area cleaned up. So, if you drove by, you may have noticed that we have the barn burnt down. We're working on getting the building torn down. And I'm actively working with the Economic Development Program to try and get a housing study along with other local community leaders.
For those who may not know, what kind of housing are you planning with?
Attainable housing focused on older adults. You're welcome. Are there any other questions?
All set? Thank you very much. Thanks for your work.
Thank you.
Good, we'll move on to letter B. The Fall 2025 City Newsletter. Several big things. Tomorrow, there is the special primary election for the mayor, so get out between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. at the Hillsdale Community Library, 11 East Bacon Street. That's for all 4 wards. The grand opening of the municipal airport's new terminal, September 14th at 11 a.m. At the municipal airport. Fall 2025 leaf collection schedule. Make sure you take a look at that. Jason, do you want to say anything about that? You read the dates. Let's see, who starts first? Ward 1?
Correct. Ward 1 will start this year on October 27th. We'll do full 2 rounds on all 4 wards, completing around December 8th.
Great.
The month before that will be the brush pickup, which is on October 13th.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure you look at that leaf collection schedule, get them out on time. Let's see, summer tax is due by September 2nd. Holiday closures, Labor Day, September 1st, Veterans Day, November 11th, Thanksgiving, November 27th and 28th. Anything else to discuss here? You can read Luke Robson's, is that Luke who wrote that? Luke Robson, a Hillsdale resident, Renaissance has a piece in there, and of course Alan Beaker's retirement. Anything else council or staff would like to say about the newsletter? Mr. Mackey, all set? Okay. We will move on to Roman numeral 6, letter C, SP Global Ratings Report. Mr. Mackey?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Just wanted to present this to council. They do it periodically, and actually we do update our financials every year as part of our bond process. We received a stable outlook, which was maintaining our rating from 2022, which with some of the comments they made, which the rating was a AA-, which is a very good rating for particularly a community of our size. But just some of the key comments that I highlighted were under the outlook section. A stable outlook reflects the city's good financial flexibility and positive performance results, supported by a steady tax base, manageable debt, and well-embedded management practices. Downside scenario, and this is just what they would look as a negative if it came up. We could take a negative rating action if reserves declined to levels no longer comparable with those of similar rated peers. And then the upside scenario, all else being equal, it is the local economic metrics. If the local economic metrics improve to levels comparable to those of higher rated peers, we would raise the rating. And that would be an example of if we were able to continue to grow our tax base, that would improve our position. Because typically, if you look at the communities of our size that have maybe a little bit better rating, it's because they have a larger tax base. So overall, this is a very
questions, comments? And you said we maintained AA minus year over year, right? Seems like we probably have more reserves than other cities of our size when you factor in the size of our tax base.
Our reserves.
Yeah.
And I would say, and Mr. Morrissey had asked about this, around 2000, our bond rating, when we did our sewer treatment plant, was BBB. So we moved up a couple notches on the rating.
Yeah, I do remember that, because that was when I moved here in 2000, and it was a BBB bond rating. I came from a place that had a AAA bond rating, so you could see that this was not well done. They didn't have adequate reserves, and they didn't have, and that they tapped into their reserves, I believe. And that was one of the reasons why they had a bad rating. Plus, they just didn't have good financial controls in those days. So the last number of years have been a big improvement. It's hard to get off from the floor, you know, and get moving again. And that has been, there's been a lot of progress last decade or so.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you, Dr. Morrissey. Anything else from council on this report? Okay. We will move on to letter D, a county commissioner verbal update from Commissioner Ingles. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, City Manager. As you know, the county sold the annex building in 2023 and is in the process of deciding where To Be District Court is going to go. And we are also in the process, due to the lease and the purchase agreement, we have availability of the downstairs for 5 years, which brings it to 28. Upstairs needs to be vacated by 2026. So we are in process of moving the offices that are upstairs at the annex building to other locations with that in mind. In addition, we have received preliminary drawings for 25 Care Drive, which is where we are planning on moving to the district court. So those are in process now. A lot of action and a lot happening regarding district court and the future of where it will be. And I'm quite pleased and proud to say that we're moving forward in a good direction. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. Any of your county questions would be.
Thank you, Commissioner. How long has the district court been in the annex?
You know, that was a former state savings bank, and that was 30 years, 40 years. Help me out, Council.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
Has anything changed in terms of caseload or number of employees?
Exponential up. In terms of cases. Caseloads are growing incredibly so. Staffing, they have about 12 staff that they work with in the district court.
So it's the number of people coming through there that makes that no longer feasible for the court.
That is very true. It does not meet any longer the standards by which courts are defined.
Okay, that was going to be my next question. Is it a square footage per?
There's a lot of different factors.
Okay.
Security is one of the biggest, and handicap accessibility. There's a laundry list, and we're trying to fix those things that need to be fixed in order to properly serve the community.
And these are requirements that presumably were not in place in the 80s and 90s when that location was chosen.
Times do change.
Okay, very good. Councilman Bentley?
How much did it cost to get the blueprints for the Care Drive location?
The county commissioners approved $119,000 for drawings for 25 Care Drive.
Councilman Flynn?
And I'm assuming though that you cannot move to 25 Care Drive until the current residents move out?
That's correct.
And we don't know when that's going to be yet?
That's correct. That's all part of what we're working through all of those questions, exactly.
But is there a drop dead date that you have to be out of the current building?
We're in negotiations right now to find out when that drop dead date is.
Okay.
You know, in fact, I have meetings on Friday, we're gonna be discussing that with Mr. Robeson and his team. Also, we have on Tuesday, Board of Commissioners will be discussing the lease and where we're headed with Lifeways. And so these current questions are currently trying to be answered.
Thank you, Councilman Flynn. Councilman Bentley?
Yes, Commissioner, what is the current rent for the annex?
The annex is free right now.
Until, I mean.
Well, it depends on how you look at it. Okay, let me answer that. Upstairs is to be vacated by October of '26. If there are arrangements made to stay longer, there will be undetermined rent. We have not discussed what that rent will be. If the downstairs is not vacated by October of '28 and extensions are awarded, then we will be paying what has been described as market rate. I don't know what that rate will be. That's part of what our meeting on Friday will hope to determine. It's a great question. Those are my questions too.
Thank you, Councilman Bentley. Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Commissioner Ingles.
Thank you.
We appreciate it. We will skip over Roman numeral 7. No ordinances or public hearings. Roman numeral 8, old business, revised TAP grant estimates. Okay, so the staff met with MDOT officials to get some new estimates for the possible costs of the road diet. Is this, Dave, are you taking this over now?
Myself, Sam, and Jason.
Okay, great.
Answer questions.
I assume going to be questions about the specifics of the scenarios. My overarching question to start is so when we looked at all of those slides, Cook Street, Budlong, Waldron, Hillsdale, is this Hillsdale Street here, this Howell, were those part of the full add-ons? Is that the comprehensive package, which is scenario 1 plus both of the add-ons?
So what you're describing with some of the other projects like Cook Street, the parking lot, the City Hall improvements, that is part of the full scope of the project, but some of those are the non-participating items that are in addition to the TAP eligible items. So what you're describing right now is inclusive of the total project.
Okay, so maybe let's, unless council has a different approach, go through the different scenarios and talk about what we get with each, unless you want to start somewhere else.
Yeah, really quick, I just want to take a second to, I think just to briefly recap where we're at and talk a little bit about these numbers. So city staff recently had the opportunity to meet with MDOT. We had several virtual meetings with them. This is the first time that we had a formal opportunity to sit down with, again, our city staff and MDOT and go through line by line the grant application and get some answers to questions on eligibility for certain items, what is considered participating versus non-participating. And so we had those meetings, and I just want to add that is kind of part of the normal grant review process, right? Typically, the applicant will submit a grant request. The agency that is funding that will then take a look at the application and evaluate it. And then usually both parties will sit down together afterwards to go through it line by line. And then if there are any necessary adjustments that need to be made or questions about funding criteria, that's the point at which those are addressed. So that's where we're at now. Based on the feedback from those meetings with MDOT, we were advised to make several changes to that budget that was originally submitted with the grant application. Like we mentioned at, I think the previous council meeting, there were some items that were double counted. We were right about that, so we had an opportunity to back those costs out. Some of those items are the non-participating, so we had to categorize them correctly. And then there were a few other minor changes to the project that MDOT wanted us to make. So we went back through, Jason and Frank and staff, we got new estimates on all of the individual line items, and we made the changes requested by MDOT. And so the numbers you see in front of you today, we're bringing these to council to keep you informed, as this grant application review process continues. So MDOT has looked at these numbers, they've looked at them favorably. We are still awaiting some clarification on whether some of the items in the that are categorized as miscellaneous currently are going to be TAP eligible or going to be deemed non-participating. And so that's why you can see when we broke it out by several funding scenarios, because we want to give, this is our best attempt to let council understand that this is kind of a menu of options at this point. We're not asking council to make a decision tonight, but we're talking about where we're currently at with the grant. So if you look at that item that we included under scenario 1, this is just what the city's 20% match would be for the TAP eligible items. So, that includes the main stretch of Broad Street, it includes the bike lanes, some of the restriping that needs to be done. And so the 20% city match for TAP eligible items only would come in at about $114,000. And then we included, if you look at scenario 2, that is, right now we don't know whether the miscellaneous items will all be TAP eligible or non-participating, so we took those out to give council another indication of how it would look, what the match would look like, the 20% match, if those items were backed out. And then what we did, the add-ons, those are the non-participating items. So it means they are not eligible for TAP funding under this grant. So if we want to include them within the scope of this project as presented, then those are things that need to be funded with local dollars. And so you can see there the kind of range of options. Now, I will say, looking ahead, again, we are going to get some clarification. There's a individual that works for MDOT that is on vacation until the 11th.
Correct.
And when he gets back, we should have a good idea whether those miscellaneous are going to be TAP eligible. We believe they are going to be, but we need to wait for confirmation on that. And then we're also exploring, we're going to explore with TIFA, to what extent they would be able to support some of the non-participating items. And so what we're doing here tonight is just presenting kind of the updated scenarios and where we're at, and then looking ahead, once we get that, the last parts of the information we need, we would anticipate coming back to council at our next meeting on the 18th, because MDOT needs this council to reaffirm its support for the project and decide if we are going to fund and include those non-participating items. So that's where council will have an opportunity to make a decision on whether we want to do just the base TAP eligible stuff or the non-participating as well. And again, we should know by then for sure whether the miscellaneous will be eligible, and also if TIFA is willing to make a contribution. So we will have updated numbers as well for next week's meeting, but this is what we have in the meantime based on conversations with MDOT. This is where things currently stand.
Thank you. For optional add-on number 2, are you calculating it currently under the assumption that the miscellaneous items are ineligible and the cost could go
that's
down if they're eligible?
That's correct. So
Okay,
option
so that's
4 is
maximum.
that's truly worst case scenario
Okay.
if all the miscellaneous was to be categorized as ineligible. We don't think that's likely to happen, but we wanted to put that there again. We're trying to show kind of the lower and upper bounds here to give an accurate portrayal.
Okay, no, thank you. I appreciate that. I was just clarifying the grammar. That's helpful though. Okay, and then, sorry, then I'll hand it off. Do any of these cost breakdowns below correlate to either option 1 and 2 or either of the add-ons? I was having trouble figuring out which list of costs correlated to which scenario or set of scenarios and options.
So you're referring to the engineer's cost opinion estimate that we have in there. So that's the full cost opinion estimate for the entire project. So that reflects both the TAP eligible items as well as all of the non-participating. And so that total number you see at the bottom, that $836,000, that would be inclusive of the TAP eligible plus all of the non-participating.
Okay,
Yep.
is there, for example, category number 6, traffic signal brought at Carlton, can we assign that list of costs to option number 1, or scenario number 1, or one of the add-ons? Do we know specifically what we're getting under each scenario is another way of phrasing it?
So we, yep, so that would be part of scenario 1,
Okay,
for that, the traffic signal brought at Carlton.
so do you know which estimates correlate to which scenarios and add-ons?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
That's how we calculated the scenario. So it's going through, so like, when you look at and you see the City Hall tap, Waldron Street tap, Cook Street tap, those are all tap eligible items. When you see,
Those are
I'm
option number 4, or add-on number 2, excuse me.
so add-on number 2 is if you take the miscellaneous plus the Cook Street non-participating and the City Hall non-participating.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Yep.
Say that again.
So optional add-on 2, to arrive at that number, that's taking the, Cook Street non-participating, the City Hall non-participating, which, you'd have to fund those 100% through local dollars as non-participating items. And it's also adding in the miscellaneous, should the miscellaneous be deemed tap ineligible, in which case that would have to be funded locally as well. And again, that's the worst case scenario for that option, but that's how you arrive at that, Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, Waldron, is that under 1, optional add-on 1?
Waldron is part of the tap.
That's tap eligible.
Yeah, that's scenario 2.
Correct. So
Scenario 2.
yeah, so
Scenario
so
two,
when you
okay.
see in there where it says City Hall tap, Waldron Street tap, Cook Street tap, those are the tap eligible items. If it says tap on it, it is tap eligible. If you're looking at the first cover page, that totals has the 836,000.
Yes.
Sam, maybe it'll make it easier. So if we look at scenario 1, that includes, if you look at category numbers, that includes category 1, 2, 3, 6, and 7.
Perfect, this is exactly what I want. Thank you, Mr. Mackey.
And what about scenario 2?
Scenario 2 includes 1, 2, 3, and 6. And optional add-on 1 is the 4 and 5. And then the optional add-on 2
It's 4, 5, and 7.
is everything.
4, 5, 6, and 7?
4, 5, and 7 is optional add-on number 2.
So the full 143,000 under number 7.
Okay, sorry that took so long to get there, but that's what I was looking for.
No, it's
Thank you,
okay.
I appreciate that.
So
Councilman Brown?
add-on 2 looks different if under scenario 1 than it does under scenario 2. Is that right then? If 7 is involved.
7 is not involved in 2.
Okay.
Just 1, 2, 3.
Right, so number 2, we're removing our 20% off of scenario 1 of number 7, which is equates to about $28,600 some dollars, and that's what brings us down to the 85,000. But in option 2, we're adding in the full 143,000. It's 100% our cost.
On the miscellaneous.
On
Do
the
you-
miscellaneous.
Do you have an advanced idea of which ones of the miscellaneous are most likely to be ineligible, if any?
So actually, we were told, based on a conversation, that they thought they would be eligible. But again, the person who actually makes that call is out till the 11th, this Monday. So that's why Sam mentioned that. So we'll know more next Monday.
Okay, great, thank you. That's what I wanted to get out there before we moved on to anything further. Okay, anything from council? Yes, Councilman Flynn.
Just to clarify, we haven't been approved for the grant yet, correct?
We have not.
No.
We have not.
Oh, we have-
Is there a date out there that MDOT says we will make an announcement on this date, whether or not you are eligible?
Yeah, so what we need to do after this, after we reaffirm that the local match, that we do want to do the local match with the non-participating, we then need to resubmit our TAP with the new numbers we have. They're asking if we can get that in by the end of the month to keep on the schedule for engineering, drawing, and conception for next season, for a 2027 project.
And do I also understand correctly then that if we choose to continue and do all of the local projects that may not be eligible, that MDOT will engineer those?
Those costs are included in this.
Okay. Do we happen to know, have we figured out, since we currently don't have an engineer, how much we might be saving to have MDOT do that engineering instead of having to hire somebody, say down the road, to do those projects piecemeal?
Yeah, so you're saving about 7% by having them do that encompass with the project.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
So, real quickly, just to reiterate, so it is our intent to actually have after speaking with the gentleman from MDOT on the 11th, and possibly meeting with TIFA subsequently after that, having good numbers, or better numbers, for the council on the 18th, so you guys can make an informed decision on how to proceed.
Thank you. Yes, Councilman Flynn?
If all that falls into place, is there a way that council could get those numbers before the meeting so that we could kind of look them over for that night?
Yes, our intent is to definitely have them by that Thursday night
Oh, okay.
as part of the packet, but if we can get them sooner, we sure will share them.
Thank you.
Councilman Bentley?
Did you have something else?
I was gonna ask if we could break down the participating versus non-participating for City Hall and Cook, and Waldron is fully participating, correct?
That is
So it's those two projects that have two different portions to them?
correct.
Okay.
So the breakdown is in the packet with the category summary.
Yeah, I'm trying to, like, what is that? What do all those specifications mean for the project, practically?
So we can go by, you want to just go by locations?
Yeah, maybe Cook Street first.
Perfect, so Cook Street's divided into two, of course, non-participating, participating. The non-participating portion is the M opening that's gonna be put on our Cook Street to get ingress and egress for the local businesses or residents of Cook Street. Now, closing off Cook Street at M99, curb and gutter, sidewalk, and upgrade and so forth, that is that is a participating portion.
Is that just because of the location? One is off of M99 and the other is not?
Correct.
Okay. Do we have a sense of whether you can take one of these? Is there gonna be, it sounds like there's gonna be an issue if the ingress egress isn't chosen and the first part of the project is done. That's my sense of the.
So the grant is pedestrian based, so that's why the close off of Cook Street is on the tab because of the walkability through there. The drive approach has nothing to do with pedestrians, so that's why it is part of non-participating.
Right, I guess I'm wondering if the people at St. Anthony's, St. Peter's, everyone who uses that area, if there is even an option for them of just doing the participating. It seems like once you close that off, you sort of need that extra ingress or egress, at least that's what I was hearing. So I'm just trying to get a sense of which ones of those are sort of fundamentally paired together and you can't really just take the state money without also doing our own project.
And I would agree with that as well, and that's what came through the public forum we had and Councilman Flynn brought to our attention as well. That was the majority that was in favor of it, but wanted that ingress and egress to still utilize that.
Okay, so Cook Street participating and non-participating are fairly matched up there. Then City Hall.
So City Hall is broken down to City Hall TAP and non-participating. So non-participating at City Hall encompasses abandoning North Street and chunk of Ferris and Union. So one thing we also did on this is we did a cost analysis of redoing those streets as well. So we're doing those streets in its current state. There are Paisley rating 2, need full reconstruction, you're looking at $253,000. That parking lot only houses 11 vehicles right now. With the improvements we're looking at, we're going up to 36 additional spots to help with Kiefer downtown on there. So I believe, or we believe, that money's better spent as a parking lot that the downtown needs. So encompassed on that as well is redoing the configuration here at City Hall, so everyone can be able to ingress off of Carlton, head in this way. The police, of course, will park down here for immediate removal. There will be a secondary entrance off of Carlton for the parking lot. On that City Hall tap as well, would be doing a continuation of the road diet from City Hall to Oak, and that will only be grinding and reinstalling pavement markings. Also with that is redoing 4 storm structures, healing in the curves on Union Street, Union and North Street on that as well. So that is, I'm sorry, I just went through the anticipated portion of that.
So storm structures, curb, and this quarter-mile road diet are participating.
Correct.
The parking lot and traffic flow portions are non-participating. Thank you. Yes, Councilman Flynn.
Real quick, Jason, the portion on Carlton go to Oak Street, every now and again after heavy rain, the water over road signs pop up over here by Gelzer's. Will that be fixed? Is that part of the storm structure you're talking about?
That's what we're gonna try, yes, we're gonna try to bust in, find that tile and put another structure in. That's one of the goals.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Bentley.
Yes, forgive me. I'm very frustrated. Not with you guys. I don't even know if I have any questions for you. I have questions about what we received in the packet. This is insufficient. I don't know how to express myself. The people are up here saying no, no, no. This is still a bureaucracy-driven item. We around this council are asking dumb questions of the guys who know. This is a matter of spreadsheets and maps, and I don't have spreadsheets or maps. I don't know why this explanation wasn't included here. I care about what this is. I asked to be in the meeting, the first meeting you had with MDOT, and you forbade me. I don't know how to get a hold of this project. We want it dead, and if I want it dead.
Not everybody wants it dead. You gotta make that understand. Not everybody wants it dead. Go on.
Everyone on this council doesn't want it dead. I agree. Everyone on this council doesn't want it dead. And I said, when we had that vote, I mean, I guess my first question is, why didn't we have that vote on June 30th? I still don't know why we had that vote. We still don't understand. Councilman Flynn and Councilman Palladino asked the questions, but I don't think there's any clarity for the people. There's no clarity for me. There's no clarity for anyone here. I want clarity. I want to know, we want to be able to pick and choose and decide, not have them explain it to us after the fact. This is maps and spreadsheets, costs and benefits. And I don't know how to say it any different. I email, I run for mayor, I'm frustrated. I would like the spreadsheets and the maps so the people can understand. The people are not stupid. These should not be the only 2 people in the room that understand what's going on. So I would like to kill it tonight. I'm not gonna insist we vote on it, but I do wanna kill it, and I do wanna tweak it, and I want us to tweak it, and I want the information to get to us and the people so everybody can understand without asking, this, that, and the other, and the gutter on the Cook Street and whatever. Like, lay it out so we know what the conversation is. We're all adults. We can understand what the MDOT and the staff are talking about. This is insufficient. And the people are frustrated. They keep showing up. This will not end until we kill it, or at least we get some clarity. And it's led by council. This should be led by council, not by, and no offense, competent staff. I hope you stay forever. I hope you retire from Hillsdale. I'm not giving you a hard time. I'm just frustrated. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Bentley. To follow up on that, what is the purpose of the June 30th resolution and how does it differ from the next one?
So the resolution on June 30th was to indicate council support for the MDOT traffic calming plan and the intent of the city to participate in it as a collaborative process with MDOT. There are no financial obligations as part of that resolution,
Right.
but it's the intent to proceed, and that was needed so they could receive our grant application and begin evaluating it. And then when we come back to council at the next meeting on the 18th, that's when, again, we're gonna have some more refined numbers and the remaining few items that we need a little bit of clarity on. We will have that information, and then council can take a look at the menu of options and decides if they wanna fund part, some, all, none, and make that decision. So it's a multi-step process as we go through submitting the grant.
So when we voted on the initial resolution, am I recalling correctly? Well, actually, I wasn't here. When council voted on the initial resolution, didn't we sort of already have a tentative thumbs up from the TAP committee?
So we had worked with the TAP committee to they reviewed our preliminary grant application. They still need that resolution as a signal of our interest in participating in the project, because they don't do as they said at one of the public hearings, they don't do a road diet project if the community is not in support and in favor of it. And so that resolution was needed with our application materials to complete that submittal. And then now that it has been reviewed and we've had the opportunity to go through and refine the grant application with MDOT staff, they're going to come back and they're going to ask this council to reaffirm support of the project, and in particular whether or not we want to do the non-participating items, because they're not going to have them all engineered and do all that together if we're not sure if we want to do the non-participating.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
yeah.
So we had not submitted the application until after June 30th.
So the grant was submitted, but it has to be revised. After as MDOT said, they actually did a high-level review this time of our grant.
Okay.
Of our grant application.
So we submit an application, they give us a sort of, keep going, do these revisions, and then we're gonna need something slightly more formal, which is a non-binding, non-monetary resolution. Then we do that, and then there's another step of revisions, and it's not until that point that MDOT actually offers to go through line by line and see what we're.
Yeah, I mean, the July 16th meeting was the first opportunity for city staff to sit down with MDOT and do that high-level review. Prior to that, they had looked at certain elements and they'd given us some preliminary indications that we like the concept, we like the project, but that was the first opportunity to go line by line and to make sure that the things that are eligible are categorized as eligible, and the things that are non-participating are marked as non-participating. So it's a kind of continual revision process, and as the grant funding agency, they know the program criteria and eligibility requirements, and they're in charge of, and they interpret those, right? And so they will tell us, you guys need to make this change. And so that's the process that we've been going through, is working to reconcile our grant application with what they believe is going to be reviewed favorably by the TAP committee. And in order to stay on schedule with this process, that's where at the meeting next week, they need an indication of whether we are going to support, the non-participating items. Then it will go to their TAP committee for review, and at that point, they will make a funding decision.
Okay. Yeah, I understand the frustration from that perspective. I'm sure you two do. You two do as well. Excuse me. It just seems highly informal and sort of slow-rolling, impossibly bureaucratic. You don't actually get final answers until you're right up to the decision point. So yeah, from that perspective, I understand. Sorry, I'm asking too many in a row. Council.
Welcome, Ed.
Councilman Stuchel.
What I mean with TIF, is that gonna be for the whole TIF board, or are you just gonna?
Yeah, so the idea would be to convene a special TIFA meeting. And we want to wait until after we have a chance to meet with this individual at MDOT on the 11th and hear back from them. But then we would, take these numbers and we would go to Tifa and we would talk about, if they have an interest in supporting it and what that support might look like. And that way, when we bring it back to council, you all have an indication of whether, Tifa is offering to share some of the costs. So that way you can make an informed decision based on that.
Thank you, Councilman Stitchell. To follow up on that, if I may, Councilman Bentley, when you write city match for these scenarios and add-ons, that is the full cost to the municipality as a whole, city or Tifa. You're not splitting that 50-50, the city match.
So the city match is the 20% share that the city, would contribute. I believe the intent would be, in talking with Tifa, the intent would be to look at some of the non-participating items that are TAP ineligible, but still align with their adopted development plan, as well as the 2017 placemaking study, and see where that overlap is, and then ask if they want to contribute to some of the non-participating costs to lower the amount that the city would need to kick in.
Okay, but just to clarify, so when it says 114,236, that's not split 50% with Tifa. It's not actually 228,000.
No.
Okay, that's the total cost to the city. Thank you. Yes, Councilman Bentley.
Again, forgive me, gentlemen. It is not your job to hear the people. It is our job to hear the people. And it was your job, I guess, as part of this process, to hold those two public forums. I would challenge my fellow council members that we don't have to have forums when we're mandated as part of the process by MDOT. I again call for a night dedicated to the people to come and give us an earful for 2-3+ hours. You will have hundreds of people here, and you will see the anger, just seething anger. We get 4 or 5 showing up every week now, every meeting now, and God bless them. But if we advertise a public forum that's not write a note on a card and has MDOT here and these guys, is essentially just us as the elected representatives of the people, they will demonstrate to you that this is just beyond the pale. So I would challenge my council, my peers, that we hold such a hearing, I guess sometime after the 11th, or as soon as possible, or any time. And there will be dozens and dozens and dozens of angry people here.
Thank you, Councilman Bentley. Just for your knowledge, so you are allowed to call a special meeting under the charter under written request of the mayor or any 2 members of the council. So 2 members of council at any point can request a special meeting. If you want to have a hearing on that, that is your prerogative.
Thank you.
Okay, if I may,
Just
Mr.
something
Blake,
to add.
yes, please.
So we keep talking about this miscellaneous. Miscellaneous encompasses mostly the brick apron behind the curb from City Hall all the way to Bacon, and then wraps around here at City Hall. So that's what we're waiting on. 99% of that is that brickwork to be upgraded to concrete, and we're trying to color tinted concrete still to keep that appeal.
Okay, that's perfect. That's where I was going next. I had heard, like Jonesville, that we're moving away from the brick to a colored concrete. Is there any way around this? I assume it has to do with just maintenance.
Maintenance is a big thing, trip hazards, heaving, lifting, curling. Third times, third times over, they need to be upgraded.
What would it cost to redo the brick? All the brick leaving the city is breaking my heart.
I couldn't even give you a price on it, brick compared to. I could look into, because we actually got a price to redo Grove Street brick. I could send that to you in an email what the comparison is for projects for brick compared to concrete.
Okay, thank you. That'd be great. How did the city do that initially?
That was part of the 2008 streetscape project with MDOT.
Was that like an American Recovery Act funded thing?
I
Federal government?
assume, I'm just not sure.
Okay. Anything else from council? Otherwise, I want to just say about the Tifa city portion. it's my opinion that anything related to economic development in the downtown area should be paid for by TIFA as part of this project. The city could possibly could justify improvements that are made for safety or for just the drivability, the quality of the roads, right? General infrastructure work. But anything that's geared toward economic development, which parking lot might be one of those, I think should probably be covered by TIFA. That's my opinion based on looking at the tax shares and the capture of the TIFA district. That's their explicit mission. They're getting more than 50% of the tax revenue from the downtown district, so I do believe that that would be just. Okay, we're all over the place. Councilman Bentley.
No, to add on to that point, the last TIFA meeting, Mr. Gelser sat in that seat and said very explicitly for the people around in TIFA that they can do essentially whatever, if I understood correctly, they can spend their TIFA monies however they please. So since they originated this idea and they're the ones pushing this idea, as far as I'm concerned, they can pay every nickel of the city portion. Like, I don't even understand why we backed away from 50-50.
Yeah, there might be an argument to be made for that based on TIFA's increasing revenues, its mission, its purpose. I'd love to have that discussion at length. Anything else from council on this? Okay, so to clarify, August 18th will be a resolution to spend money.
There'd be
A resolution to commit to, and specifically the non-participating items that the city wishes to include, besides the TAP eligible items as well. So, delineating what exactly, when you look at this list, which non-participating items that the city wants to do in conjunction with the TAP eligible items.
Okay.
because the traffic calming portion was part of the other resolution. So the calming itself was approved under the other resolution.
Right, and we're saying that resolution is set. Okay. Yeah, it does seem like it'd be one thing if it were a 5-10% difference, but I think, well, I guess I can't speak for council and I wasn't here. If I were here, I would have been voting under the premise. This resolution is to do the road diet and spend $200,000 to get the full package. That's sort of what I would have been voting under the assumption of. I don't know what the rest of council thinks about that. I understand the process that you're bound by, right? You need to have this resolution before you go line by line, but man, that's brutal. Okay. Councilman Bentley.
So you just clarified that we're expected to allocate money at the next meeting? Is this?
I'm so sorry.
No, please.
Just to reaffirm our intent to do the non-participating portion of the project. So that could be the stuff at City Hall, the parking lot, et cetera.
So that they can move forward with the engineering. We're not gonna spend the money until they actually start, right?
Correct, so this is we need this so we can get to resubmit the TAP grant under the new numbers that we have.
Oh, it requires a resubmission.
Correct.
Okay.
To say that our previous resolution, June 3rd, I believe, is essentially worthless. Is that kind of what you're saying?
No, so that one is still valid, it's the non-participating stuff, so anything we're just talking about, Cook Street, drive approach, parking lot, City Hall down here, and this stuff, sort of stuff.
So again, did MDOT put a deadline on? You might have just told us and I already forgot, but.
So they're asking, and they're just asking to have this completed by the end of August, yes, end of August, so we still stay the timeline to get this engineered and conceptual.
Yeah, well, if you're asking us, this meeting is, this portion of the meeting is about over. I don't see how any of us are gonna be up to speed to understand what we need to understand to vote to go forward in 2 weeks. I still don't understand anything, the people don't understand anything. So I would respectfully maybe ask MDOT, yeah, we're not gonna get it done on the 18th when the guy's out till the 11th. I mean, it's almost comical to think that we're qualified to make these decisions when we don't know what we're talking about. So I move to tell MDOT we're not gonna vote on it next meeting.
We have a motion. Can we bind a future council meeting not to vote?
I don't know, I was just throwing it out there.
I don't think we can do that.
So you understand my frustration, we're not there.
I think the appropriate course of action would be to table it next meeting, if that's what council decided.
I'm always in favor of delay and more time to think. I mean, that's the American tradition, is a due sense of deliberation. So they won't accept the application, or they won't include the non-participating items if we don't have it? Is it broken out, or is it all in one?
So to stay on the current schedule, and in order to have this engineer, or to have time for the TAP committee to review it, for them to be able to come back with, the grant award, to have an engineer to, put it out to bid, to do this as a 27 project, to stay on schedule, they need us to make that commitment before the end of August. That's what MDOT has said. So
To start this project in 2027?
this is the timeline for MDOT. To stay on that schedule, they need a response by the end of the month.
Okay, sorry, excuse me. I thought when we talked to, or when, in that email thread, he said the June 30th deadline for the resolution wasn't absolute.
You did.
Councilman Bentley?
Yes, thank you. Is it Mr. Wallace that's on vacation?
No, that's Mr. Phillips.
Okay, because what I understood from him is that he's put the engineers on standby. So they're not billing hours, they're not actively participating until nowish, now that you guys got on the same page. And he would like to reactivate his engineers to get ahead, to get a jump start. So, and I'll talk to him again this week if I can, but that's my understanding is he's got his guys on standby and he's ready to put them back to work if we're resolved to do so. But I don't think they're sweating it. It's just a request that we'd like to know by the end of August. And I don't think we can do that. We ought not promise it. And if I'm right, they'll say, that's fine, get to us in, early in September. So that would be my suggestion.
Thank you, Councilman Bentley. Mr. Mackey?
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So from Mr. Wallace, this is his exact list to us regarding this timeline. I'm going to start and just basically go through the 8 items he laid out to us on Friday afternoon, about 1:30, which he gave us kind of a high-level review of the numbers. But item 1, update council and reaffirm city support of local costs to Jackson TSC. Item 2, resubmit TAP application. Item 3, TAP grant decision needed by the end of August to keep the schedule below. The below schedule is number 4, design kickoff meeting winter 2026, review of preliminary plans summer 2026, final plans fall 2026, bid letting March of 27, construction summer and fall of 27. So that's the schedule he laid out for us as of Friday.
So well, I don't know if we will. Whoever is on council in March, April 2027 will be the ones that actually approve the bids.
Yes, is that
MDOT will approve, because at some point we're gonna have to do another resolution to allow MDOT to bid and to bill on behalf of the city to the contractors. we're just gonna be a flow through to that.
And we will have to reimburse them early 2027, spring 2027?
It'll come through as different payments, but yeah, it's kind of like a small urban grant. We pay the state, and then they'll distribute.
Oh my, this is just wild. So they could put all this work in, we could have an election, and they could say, no, we're not spending the money on that. I mean, I guess that's the danger of the political process, but that is very good to know. That sort of changes my view of things. That is such a protracted time period, and so much could change. But I guess, okay, we're not doing anything tonight. Any other comments or questions? Unless Councilman Bentley has another motion.
Sorry, the last one, no, I would retract my motion. I think that was a good idea.
It didn't get a second, so you're good.
This is another example, and again, I guess I'm frustrated with myself. I mean, I'm willing to take the blame for not expressing myself in the right way. I would literally like all the email, all the information. You can bury me with an email after sometime on Wednesday. I presume my days will open up a little more than they have been lately. I will read all the numbers, all the maps, all the back and forth with MDOT. I don't know why we're being left out, except we're being sidelined, and therefore the people are being sidelined. So could you send us those 8 points from Mr. Wallace? Thank you. And again, anything and everything else, at least I will attend to it. I don't expect us all to. And again, I understand it's a difficult process that even Mayor Pro Tem doesn't have his head around. It's not the elected people's, it's not our responsibility or our right to get in the nuts and bolts of it. And so you have your procedures and your way of interfacing with Jackson and Lansing and MDOT. But I'm trying to insist that I want to know all the things. Me as an individual, the council in general, if they're also interested. So please, again, send me everything you got.
Thank you, Councilman Bentley. Another comment, Mr. Blake.
Yeah, so this is our first grant that I've been part of, but as far as the letting process, the bid process and so forth, it is multi-year. And to bring it up, we have coming up in a month or so, the Hell Street Bridge. That's 2028, and we're doing 30% review of drawings this coming month. So the timetable is usually that way with the funding stream and so forth.
Yeah, I think the difference with this is it's so much more political, so much more engaged with the public. The Hell Street Bridge, that's a safety thing through and through. One other question on sort of a different note, I guess the same thing. Is it possible to redo the resolution and say we're just going to do a downtown road diet and forego the grant? Can we just do City Hall to Bacon or Waldron or South or whatever we decide and say we're not going to do any of the other things?
Are you talking about just doing the TAP eligible items only? And then
TAP eligible, but also restricting the length of it. I really think we could have consensus on this with the majority of the citizens if it cost very little and was a downtown road diet only. Is that possible?
So, and just in my conversation with MDOT, just over the phone when I was getting that numbers after work, we both, as administrative and on their end, would like to see the road guy go out to Steenberg because of geometrics, right?
Right.
If it stops at South Street, essentially you're gonna have passing lanes as, at the curve going to and from and so forth. It's not gonna have the effect that we want it to have. So that's just coming back from MDOT and from myself.
Okay. Councilman Flynn, yes.
I do remember asking that exact question at the last meeting we had at the library with one of the MDOT directors, and he basically said it was all or nothing. I brought up the same thing, could we just stop at Bacon Street and do from here to Bacon and leave from Bacon to the fairgrounds alone? And he said, no, you gotta do it all or you can't, that's part of the project.
Okay.
So it's all or nothing basically.
Thank you, Councilman Flynn. Anything else from council or staff? Yeah, I do. I mean, this goes back to my fundamental objection to this form of government. We should be in those meetings. We should be taking the heat for this. I feel bad for you guys for what. This this is not your fault that there's 2 years of meetings. We should have to explain that to the public. Okay, I will move on. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay, new business, letter A, light up parade, and Jason is back, thank you. Okay. So the HBA has to pay $1,025 estimated right now with 50% reduction. They would like to pay $275.
Correct. After conversation with the HBA, I believe that the funds aren't quite there to do the 50% reduction as the city sponsored this year. With after conversation, pay half the permit fee of $275. That'll allow them another year to try to get some volunteers, some sponsorship and so forth, so we can keep that in our downtown.
Great, thank you. I appreciate their commitment to try to cover more of the cost. If that's how this goes, that's totally fine by me. Just that this idea that we do need a little more assistance, but we also don't want to drive these events away. Councilman Sohan?
If I remember correctly, when we amended the payment structure, Council for City-Sponsored Events had the authority to excuse all expenses. Is that correct?
I apologize, that's not how I took it as well. It was, from time to time, council can name a city-sponsored event to give the 50% reduction on that. That's how I had it at the shop.
That's also my memory, and we can, by ordinance, make them 100% exempt. At the time, we decided it's, I believe, restrict that only to veterans events that were 100%.
Correct.
I would prefer to move in the direction of easing the burden for these city-sponsored events and having that fund that the $20,000 that I think we approved for the budget to pay for these road closures. Is that correct?
Well, the $1,000 or the $750 plus the would be coming from that. So the $275 would come. They would actually pay that amount. All the rest of it would come from that fund.
And I think Mr. Josser I think he'd be okay with $275.
Yeah, I think that's what, did you write that in there, or is that just my, okay. Yeah, so we're gonna be paying about $1,800 for this event.
Correct.
$1,750. But even then, pretty much the fare is gonna eat up most of the rest of the $20,000, depending on how we calculate that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, okay. Any other questions or comments for Mr. Blake?
I would make a motion that we approve the HBA's right-of-way for their annual light up parade at $275.
Support. Motion on the floor from Councilman Flynn, seconded by Councilman Soha to charge the HBA $275 for the light up parade. Katie, may I have a roll? Oh, sorry. Any further discussion? Katie, may I have a roll call vote?
Councilmember Bruns,
Yes.
Flynn,
Yes.
Morrissey,
Yes.
Soha,
Yes.
Stuchel,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Palladino,
Yes.
Councilmember Bentley.
Yes.
7-0 is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to new business, letter B, airport tractor purchase funded with a grant. Oh, Travis isn't. Oh, he is here. Okay, your name was on it, so, okay. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Okay, so as far as the tractor grant goes, I came in at the end of this, so I'm just wrapping up the grant process that started. I wasn't part of the initial application, but we have come to the point where we were awarded the grant money, and we made a selection on the equipment that we'd like to move forward with, which is the case tractor that was part of this meeting's packet. We did obtain another quote for a John Deere. The case came in a little bit cheaper with a bit better warranty and more of a right to repair where you don't have that John Deere. So tonight we're looking to move forward with the purchase of the case. We would need a approval for that purchase, and then MDOT will refund us in 2 equal payments for that unit at a cost of around $91,300. So it's a bit lower than what we have listed.
Okay. Very good. Questions, comments? Council, staff, Councilman Bentley?
Well, maybe we should wrap this up. I mean, do we have to vote? Yes. Then I move that we do so.
Purchase, $91,300. Support.
Travis, now, you had the 93,900 because there was 2,000 for the bucket leveling.
Yeah, I think, and I can go back to, we got approved for 90, that full amount,
Yes, the 93 now.
but then we had a small adjustment for a little bit less, so I just need to verify what the final price will be with Redline on their purchase agreement. So it will not go over that, if anything, it'll be under.
Okay, so we can
Support
approve
up to 93.9.
Okay, perfect. So motion on the floor to approve the purchase of a tractor for the airport not to exceed 93.9. Any discussion from council? Katie, could I have a roll call vote, please?
Yes, Councilmember Flynn,
Yes.
Morrissey,
Yes.
Soha,
Yes.
Stuchel.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Palladino,
Yes.
Councilperson Bentley,
Yes.
and Rounds.
Yes.
7-0, less approved.
Any other airport-related questions?
Yes.
Oh, is that what you were?
That's what
I did bring some information with me to hand out too, if you'd like.
Oh, yes,
Just
please.
Oh, great, thank you.
One of each.
Just one of those and one of those, just some general information.
Did you want to present this before I ask my question?
So what you're seeing there is our adjusted rental revenue that we're projecting for increased rates starting in October. And the other document is just an update on fuel sales, 2024 month to month versus this year. So in October, we're planning to increase the T-hanger rent to $150 a month for 18 units. And then we've come to a lease agreement with a aircraft maintenance company for corporate hangar number 2 at $1,650 a month. And then corporate hangar number 1 will go from $400 to $650 a month. And then we also have a lease agreement for the hangar attached to the terminal for $650 a month. And then I'm working to lease the current office space in the current terminal once we move into the new facility. I'm projecting $600 a month for that too. And the other caveat to that is I'd like to work on moving utilities to the responsibility of the tenant, so that the city's not paying for utilities in corporate 1 and corporate 2.
Do you need us to do something to do the utility switch over?
Mr. Mack and I were talking about maybe figuring out a way to monitor use in those 2 facilities with maybe a meter or something like that. So I think it's all tied into one right now, so we need to be able to separate that out.
The tug, do you need, oh, I'm sorry.
Just with all due
Yes,
respect,
Councilman Sullivan.
could we add this to the agenda for the next meeting? Because this today was just,
Okay, sure. Yeah.
that way we can look at it and have some time.
No, fair point. I didn't know that he was gonna be here, so yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing this.
So I would request Mr. Mackey to add these to the next.
Okay, very good, thank you. Yeah, and I've been out there a couple times, Councilman Bentley went with me. Travis has been very open and flexible to giving tours out there, that he's doing good work. Okay, we will move on to Roman numeral 9, letter C, letter of permission for St. Joe's Pizza for a temporary authorization from the Liquor Control Commission. Thank you, Mr. Fry.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem and Council. So St. Joe's Cafe, they're looking to participate in the upcoming summer block party that Hillsdale Renaissance is doing in downtown Hillsdale on August 23rd. They would like to operate a tent on municipally owned property to serve alcoholic beverages. Will be in a tented and cordoned off area. As part of the process to get authorization from the Michigan Liquor Control Commission to go ahead and do that, they have to apply for what's called a temporary authorization. That requires a recommendation of approval from our local police chief, who reviewed their application and endorsed it. You can see that in the packet. And then the other item that's needed, because they are intending to do this on municipally owned property on that stretch of North Howell Street in between Bacon and McCullum, which will be shut down for the event, they have to have written permission from the local municipality. So what we're asking for tonight is for council to consider authorizing that letter, giving them permission to serve on the portion of North Howell Street that will be shut down for the event. And that will let them go ahead and submit their temporary authorization application to the Liquor Control Commission to get approved.
Thank you. Comments or questions from council? Is there a fee associated with this? Just a right-of-way fee?
So Hillsdale Renaissance, they're the ones doing the event. So they've already submitted a right-of-way application, and then we had the use agreement for them in the consent agenda for tonight's meeting. So St. Joe's Cafe is just participating as a vendor for the event.
I see. Okay, thank you.
I motion to approve the letter granting permission for St. Joe's Pizza to serve alcohol on municipal owned property.
Was that Councilman Soha? Motion on the floor from Councilman Bruns to approve the attached letter, seconded by Councilman Soha. Any further discussion? Let's see. Roll call vote?
Okay, Councilmember Morrissey,
Yes.
Soha,
Yes.
Sucho,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Palomino,
Yes.
Councilperson Benton,
Yes.
Bruns,
Yes.
and Flynn.
Yes.
7-0, it's approved.
Thank you very much. That is the end of new business. We have no miscellaneous reports. We do have some vacancies still on Board of Review, Dial Right Advisory Committee, and the International Property Maintenance Code Appeals Board. Please submit an application if you're willing to serve the city. We have no appointments, nothing else. Under other, we will move on to Roman numeral number 11, general public comment. The podium will be open for 3 minutes. Please state your name and address or ward, and you may speak on whatever your heart so desires. The podium is open.
Hi again, Jill Hardway, Ward 1, 157 Oak Street. So I'm a little perplexed and confused by the statement earlier that Tiffin was going to share a portion of the road diet when in previous meetings it was stated that TIF is basically broke. So I'm confused about that. I'm also wondering why we can't do what the county is currently doing and put this entire road diet to the vote of the citizens and let our citizens decide. Again, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but if we cannot afford to fix our own roads and we're assessing people $5,000, how can we justify this expense? If MDOT is gonna fix this regardless, right, they're gonna fix it, just leave it as it is. Why do we need to do this? Why are we putting all these citizens through this when we can't fix our own roads? I just don't understand that. To me, this is ridiculous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Sucho, there's 4 people on council that are for this road diet thing that's voted. I haven't seen anybody approach this microphone or been to any other meeting regarding the road diet that wants the road diet. Are you there voting for yourself or for the people of the city? Curious.
Thank you.
Scott Sargent, 102 Cold Springs Circle. I just want to wish the candidates running for mayor tomorrow good luck, and I want everybody to get out and vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess if there's hundreds of angry people coming to this meeting, I'd like to know when that is, because I don't want to be here. Because I think that could be kind of a a racial thing possibly, or a sexual or some kind of, if they're so angry about something, who wants to be around them? I guess if there is that many people that definitely don't want it, why not put it on the ballot? Then you got a full answer. Either that or send out questionnaires, or do it when they're voting tomorrow, have a thing there that says who wants it and who don't, and have them sign it, yes or no. Then you know how many people you got that's for it and how many is against it. I think it's a big safety thing because trying to get out of your cars downtown is really a hazard, no matter where you're at. And people jaywalking to go to church on Sundays, that's a big hazard too. I don't know what you're gonna do about the Catholics, they just don't know how to cross the street and cross it. But anyhow, that would be the true way to find out. I mean, we hear all these people, well, we don't hear all these people. We hear one or two people saying there's hundreds of people that don't want it. But, you know, that's kind of hearsay too, so, thank you.
Thank you.
David Hamilton, Ward 4. Jack, be careful there, protection from God. Let's please remember that we're elected, and some of us have been appointed, and you're sitting there in chairs because somebody voted for you. And those voters average $50,000 income or less. Maybe I'm back a year or two with my data, but really, they're trying to make the money last until the end of a month for crying out loud. And if we don't have money to maintain our own roads, repairs, maintenance, by the way, and we don't have money for extras, if we're adding SADs to our tax rolls that by definition come on a tax bill, and if I don't pay them, I get foreclosed on for tax foreclosure, that's a tax. And I don't care what you want to call it, it's a tax. And if you're adding taxes to our constituents' bills, you might want to take note of why you're doing that. If it's a great idea, these guys are doing a great job. Dave, you're doing a great job. Thank you for doing good stewardship with our money. But this is a chance for our elected council members to have a vote on whether or not we spend that money, my money, their money for people that are out there working a second shift because they're trying to make enough money to last to the end of the month. Those are your constituents. Those are the ones you're casting a vote for. And we don't want to have the tail wagging the dog. The wayfinding study was done in 2017, and I didn't see any part of it that went out to the people and asked the people. It was engineers that decided, hey, this is a great idea. And it came to the city management, and it's been, how many hours have been put in on it? Hours that have come out of somebody's hide because somebody's paying taxes. And we need to be careful because we're voting whether or not to spend the people's money, and I consider that sacred. It's not my money. Very little bit of it is. It's other people's money. It's easy for some people to do that, to spend other people's money. It shouldn't be for you. You're elected. Please, earn your chairs. Thank you very much for what you're doing.
Thank you. Is there anything else from the public? Thank you for passing the motion to approve us for the alcohol tent. Will be great for downtown. I just want to say, when considering the road diet and any changes or plans to it, not continuing all the way south to Steenburg, one thing that I think is important as a downtown business is to consider when Kiefer opens up expanding parking, even apart from a road diet, just figuring out where all of those cars whose owners are going to be staying in the hotel, where they're going to be parked. The pub and grub and myself at St. Joe's both take up a lot of parking spots right there on that corner. Once the hotel's open, all three of us are going to be
fighting over the same parking spots, and if people are parking in the afternoon, walking to one of the restaurants in town for dinner, and walking back, our customers won't have a place to park. So I don't know if there's any consideration of valet services or, right across the street, the parking lot by the post office, but I think that's very important, apart from narrowing the lanes or bike lanes or anything like that. So, thanks.
Thank you. Any more public comment? Thank you all for speaking. I will close the podium and we will move on to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Some of this is duplicate. Just remind everyone again that tomorrow is our primary election for the office of mayor, and that is a one-year term that will go till next November. The polls will open at 7 a.m. and they will remain open to 8 p.m. The city clerk had passed out some information actually on the amount of absentee ballots. Let me see if I put that. So there were actually 716 absentee ballots issued. And to date, and this was as of this afternoon, she had received 51% of those back, so 369 ballots back. So not bad. Start to the election. So also moving on, back to school safety reminder that the Hillsdale Community Schools and others, but particularly the Hillsdale Community Schools, will be starting their academic year Monday, August 19th. So as the kids return to school, many will be walking, biking, and riding buses. So if, just for the motorists to reduce their speed and be cautious in the school zones, we just encourage that, and that the safety of our community students depends on shared responsibility and attentiveness to everyone on the road. The fall newsletter, as was stated, is in the packet. It also includes the leaf collection and brush collection schedule. So if that is something you are interested in, I just encourage you to look in the packet, or you will be receiving that newsletter here in your BPU bills. And then again, the airport fly-in will be September 14th. That's this Sunday, where we will be dedicating the opening ceremony for the new terminal construction. We're pushing some timelines with the rain and whatnot for the parking lot, but we're hoping that we're very close, 90% we're just not sure if we're going to get across the finish line by the 14th, but lately we have been getting quite a bit of rain. And lastly, just for the residents and everyone to know, we had received these free tickets for children for the Garden Brothers Circus, and it's in Toledo on August 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th at the Stranahan Theater lot. So if there's anyone who has children and are interested in attending the Garden Brothers Circus, we do have these in my office, where we'd be happy to share them with residents if they're, and that this is for a free child admission with an adult purchase. And that is all, Mayor, unless there are questions.
Questions, comments? Thank you, Mr. Mackey. Okay, we'll move on to council comment. I don't think anyone asked about this. Did staff discuss at all the idea of rerouting trucks along this route or any other route? It does seem that that's the central consideration of the road diet. And yes, Councilman Stuchel?
A couple summers ago, Notre Dame was in town, did a workshop, and that was one of the recommendations, but it's very expensive.
Oh, okay. MDOT would have to be persuaded. Is it that they need to increase the weight grade of the roads?
You're building a whole new road.
Yeah, that seems to be a primary concern. I mean, if you do a road diet and they get stuck at a light, then you got them idling right into your ears there. That would be the biggest benefit for the downtown, I think. Councilman Flynn?
Well, plus you'd have the county involved since it's all county roads and not city. Plus you would have some areas where semis wouldn't be able to turn. You're coming off of Lake Pleasant Road onto Bacon Road or vice versa. Currently, those aren't engineered for semis to turn, so you'd have to do all brand new intersections in those areas, and it would be a project. A lot of money.
Thank you, Councilman Flynn. Councilman Bentley?
I think Miss Macio left, but,
His wife's here.
hi, thanks for being here. Yes, it occurred to me that it was in December that Bob and I were asking about parking with the Pub and Grub and the Kiefer and the Dawn, and that's when I first found out about the road diet. So it's a curiosity, but I think Bob and I are also very concerned. And I floated, and it's not an MDOT road, so I don't know if I floated it publicly, but I asked some people on North Street. I almost would consider, I'm not forcing anybody, I just throw it out there. Slanted parking and maybe a one-way, like that would provide triple. Not an engineer, but I'm just saying, those are the kinds of things that I think we would like to consider here, rather than just unloading it on staff. Because we have to sell it to the people and ask the people, and I've already, months ago, mentioned it to people, and I thought it sounded good, so I don't know.
Thank you, Councilman Bentley. I believe we did discuss a different idea, but I think there was something in the city ordinances or in the state law that we were allowed, if there's a business that has a certain number of, like it's a high volume business, we can require that they park in certain lots for overnight stays. Is that correct? Do we require them to go to the Main Street lot?
I'd have to do some research on that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if that's a possibility, but if they're gonna have 30, 40 cars there, we can't have them filling up all those spots. Any other council comment? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support. Motion on the floor from Councilman Flynn, seconded by Councilman Soha to adjourn. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for being here.